Hello, Jean-Baptiste.
Hello, Louise.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. So you are Senior Brand Director, RTL AdAlliance. You'll be with us through the whole show to reinforce on different subjects with lots of data for everybody that's watching us. But first of all, happy birthday to you.
Yeah, happy birthday to the TVKF. The TVKF is 30 years old today. And it's also a personal birthday. It's been 10 years that I've been working on the TVKF project.
Yeah, that's a really great achievement. And we'll be blowing out the candles a little bit later on in the wings backstage to celebrate. In the meantime, let's talk about what total video actually looks like today. How important is video in our lives, first of all, in 2023?
Well, very simple number. Total video is 1/4 of our lives.
That's an awful lot, yeah. 1/4 of our lives. And so how is that calculated?
Well, Omdia made the calculation for 2022 across 9 major markets, the US, Australia, and 7 major European markets, France, UK, Germany, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, and Sweden. And they combine every screen, every platform, every viewing occasion, and it's all added up to more than 6 hours. 6 hours, 13 minutes to be exact. In other terms, 1/4 of a day on planet Earth is dedicated to watching video content. Knowing that you have to sleep, to eat, to work, well, that's an awful lot, yes, you can say that.
Some of us are not getting enough sleep, are we? And if we dive in a little deeper, how are these 6 or so hours divided between the different screens or the different types of video content, for example?
Yeah, to give you a rough idea, the way Omdia is distributing these 6 hours, it's half of the time, roughly, is linear television. Either watch live or time shifted. Then you have 20% of long-form video on demand, you know, the like of Netflix, Prime Video, Disney+. You have 18% of social video seen on Netflix, Facebook, Instagram. And you have 10% of, let's say, short-form online video that can be seen on any website, but also on YouTube, for example.
Okay, so let's focus on television to start with. If we look at the global picture, what are we observing today?
Yeah, you know, it's always good to have a step back from our 9 markets and to have, let's say, a bigger world perspective. And thanks to our partner Glance, we know about the viewing time of TV daily per region. And it's very different. You know, us Europeans, we are watching, for example, 3 hours, 22 minutes. It's 30 minutes more than Northern Americans, for example. But it's also 80 minutes more than the average Asian viewer.
And if you go down deeper?
Yeah, we can dig deeper within regions, and you will see that either within Europe, for example, it's extremely different between a country like Portugal and the UK. In Asia, the same between China and Japan. So when you are planning media and planning television, you have to have very clear insights about each individual market.
Okay, so we go back to total video time now. How are things actually evolving?
Yes, because these 6 hours I gave you at the beginning were just the photograph, you know, of, let's say, the viewing time in 2022. But let's take a 10 years perspective into total video consumption.
Okay.
We see that, first of all, since 2011, it went up all across the world in every market. On average, it's 30 minutes. But secondly, we see a different trend in the last year, especially between the US and the European markets, because the US is going up again even after COVID. It's now plus 6 minutes compared to 2020, while the European markets are more back to, let's say, high normal. When I say high normal, it's that, for example, in Germany, it's 12 minutes more than before COVID. In the UK, it's plus 26 minutes compared to before COVID.
Okay.
And then third, looking into the future, because we also have forecasts from eMarketer, we see that the future of total video in Europe looks rather stable and flat. We are thinking, depending on the market, to, let's say, 0% of evolution of this viewing time by 2025, or even for some market, minus 5%. What does it mean? It means that all these video platforms that are emerging, launching in the future, they will be competing for the viewer's attention in Europe because it's not going up.
Okay, so if we put this info into perspective, can you give us maybe a few examples?
Yeah, I'll give you an example of one video type that was very popular and that grew very fast in the very recent years. Long-form video on demand. If you take 2022, the usage is still growing a lot in the US, plus 11 minutes on average, in Europe, it's rather close to 3 minutes in 2022. So it's slowing down, especially when you compare it to, let's say, the high growth period of 2018 to 2021, where it was growing, for example, 8 minutes a year in Germany and even 12 minutes a year in the UK. And as stated earlier, these platforms, these long-form video on-demand platforms, they will compete against each other for these viewing minutes. Very clear example about the UK. If we look into the forecast by 2025, we see that the leaders, Netflix, YouTube, they will reach a plateau, and there will be a catch-up from other type of platforms that are investing a lot into content. We talk about the BVOD platforms that will be competing with them by 2025.
Okay, just to be clear, because you do have quite a lot of acronyms, what is BVOD and what space is it occupying today?
Yeah, sorry, Louise. BVOD means Broadcaster Video on Demand.
Yes.
It's these platforms like RTL+, ITVX, 6play, that were designed as catch-up TV platform, when you can rewatch the TV programs. But they evolved a lot. Now they are proposing new features, live stream, preview, and also exclusive content, and even fast channels. Fast channels means free ad-supported streaming television. It's digital TV channels that run a linear program online, free, but with ads.
Okay, so thanks for clearing that up. And if we take a look now at social video platforms, what's happening here?
Well, in a similar way, social video platforms are also competing for the same viewing minutes. Let's take again the examples of the UK. As we see, there's one leader going up, TikTok, plus 6.5 minutes in 2022. But it's going up at the expense of the previous leader, Facebook, who's losing ground, minus 2.5 minutes in 2022.
Okay, so we're talking about trends, and what's the trend when it comes to linear?
Well, considering the evolution of linear TV and taking the long-term trend, we see two different patterns again between the US and Europe. If you take the viewing time in Europe in 2022, it's equal to what it was in 2000. The US, on the other way, lost 1 hour and 40 minutes of daily viewing time in the same period. This resilience of linear TV in Europe might be explained by the dominance of this viewing type on the European market. It goes up to 75 to 80% of the total video viewing in these markets, while if you take the US, it's only 54%.
Okay. I think we've got time for one last key insight, and I think it's pretty good news, right?
Yeah, to end this chapter, you have to understand that the power of linear television is two-dimensional. You have the viewing time on the one hand, of course, but you also have this ability to reach 2/3 of the European population in a single day. 63% daily reach for television. And again, you have some differences between countries, with the average being way higher in France, for example. So when building campaigns, TV is the foundation for high reach.
Okay, all this data is extremely useful, of course, to everybody that's watching us today. Thank you very much, Jean-Baptiste, for all of this.